Ooh, might make your head blow off.
Hey yo, it's a talk show host, Kana Lassiter. Join me for an episode of Relations, the most lit hour of adult conversation.
Hold up, you know you can't forget about me. It's 51 Spade, Alpha Male God, one half of Relations. You wanna hear the truth? Can you handle the truth? It's where it's at, baby. It's where it's at, baby.
What's good? Welcome to an all-new episode of Relations. My name is Kana Lassiter.
Say it with me now. Alpha Male God, 51 Spade, a.k.a. the ninja you love to hate.
You know how we do it, guys.
Hey. I'm in the building. Now you can go.
2 topics, 1 hour. We already can tell how this show getting ready to go. Early. So the 2 topics today are... why are you the catch? And how do babies impact a relationship? So let's start with, I think both of the subjects will tie in together. So we're going to start with how do babies really affect a relationship or damage relationship. And I think the reason why we chose the word baby instead of children, even though children are not going to be avoided.
I say to do both.
Yeah. I think the idea of why we brought up why do babies change a relationship, because we hear a lot of women complaining that everything was great and then we got pregnant and we broke up. And so that big lingering question that we've been seeing over and over again is, what is it about me having a baby that would really ruin the relationship? And I'm thinking about this question. And for someone who doesn't have children, I thought about, first of all, the dynamic of the relationship and how much the relationship I am in would actually change if I was pregnant or if I had a baby. So let's start with getting pregnant. Everybody here knows what it does to the human body. So I'm going to say something on the men's behalf. That's not what he signed up for. Now, if he nutting in you, and you get pregnant, then of course, it takes 2 to make a baby. But I'm saying, I think without ever being pregnant, ladies, I think your body probably goes through some serious changes. I've heard things like rashes. I've heard things like gas. I've heard things about stretch marks. All things that are beautiful when you're having a positive conversation about what it takes to bring a baby into the world. This particular conversation is about what it does to relationship. And the things that I just named are just not on the I am so attracted to you list. So I think that's the first thing that really changes, is that your body goes through some changes. And if you're in a brand new relationship and you get pregnant, these are all changes that your partner is not aware of, or B, not prepared for it. You know, there's something to be said about having a new relationship energy, and gallivanting and have a good time, and she smells so good and you want to have sex with her all the time, to now she looks bloated and she's got gas. So I just think it takes a man out of his mojo. And I think when you take a man out of his mojo, I believe men need it. They need their dick sucked, and they need their ego massaged. And I think when you get pregnant, then the woman needs those 2 things. She needs her ego massaged and her feet rubbed.
So you saying they stop sucking dick when they get pregnant?
I'm saying the dynamic of the relationship changes, and I think women use that, or I shouldn't say use, because if you're pregnant, you're pregnant. My fucking feet hurt. Rub my feet. But the fact that she's pregnant may have changed the relationship dynamic. Now, instead of me coming to give you water and rub your back and bringing you Tylenol for your headache, I'm telling you that my stomach hurts, I got gas, and my feet need to be rubbed. So I'm just saying that the dynamic in the relationship changes first. And what we'll do is try to let's talk about dynamic, and then I'll take it up for me to the next step of what I think would affect the relationship. But I'm going to start on the dynamic changing. For me, I said that I reflected on what would happen in my relationship. And the fact that I've never been pregnant before. If I were pregnant in the relationship that I'm in, I'm experiencing all these things for the first time. So I'm going to talk about the gas. I'm going to talk about this rash that I have that I got to put cream on every day. I am going to want to show my guy what's happening to my body. And what I'm saying is those things that you're so inquisitive and showing your partner might not be that attractive, especially if we're talking about the way that your body is going through changes as far as a pregnancy. And this is just an assumption from what I've heard or read. I've never had children, but I'm imagining that gas isn't that attractive if you're not pregnant. So I can imagine double the gas being pregnant, or the heartburn, or whatever the hell you go through when you're pregnant with, or you're with child. So that's the first answer, is I think the dynamic will change. And I think dynamic is super important to a relationship.
Right. You're right. That's interesting, just hearing you say that. But then again, like you said, you don't have children. So that's a good guess. It is. And I could see that, speaking from your perspective of just saying, hey, my dynamic changed. Now, I'll say this. If you go old school, go back in the day, there was a time when it was a situation of the woman say they pregnant, and they say it to the guy, and the guy thinks about his legacy. Very first and foremost. Oh my God, am I gonna have a boy? Am I gonna have a girl? Most guys want a boy to continue on their legacy.
Right.
Okay? Now, in this day and age, two-parent households are kind of non-existent. So that same type of thought process probably don't really come into play. Like a guy, you tell a guy you pregnant, and their number one thought is gonna be, okay, you're pregnant, but it's gonna go immediately to money.
Okay.
Like
financial.
And women don't think about that, because they're thinking about other things. Their emotion is all out of whack. They're starting to gain weight and stuff like that. Especially women who, you did bring up one point that I can agree with, is because I've heard women say that, like, my first child fucked my body up, and that's why they don't want to have kids. Like, after that, they think about the body they had, and that shit is over with and done. Now, here goes some hard truth that you're not thinking about. So when you first get into a relationship with the woman, there are things that, and it's nobody's fault. Y'all are dealing with each other. You know what I'm saying? You're at the top of the totem pole. Your woman think you everything. And then when you become pregnant, the priority of the woman starts to change. And this is when you'll see the switching of the guards. Because if they're religious, now you're dealing with God, child, then you. And the other thing that they don't talk about is some people in relationships don't do that much research about the other person, and now the guy becomes a war zone. Who pops up? A sister, a mama, other family members that was never in your relationship before, but they pop in when children come.
Yes, they do.
And this becomes the all-out war that the man has to fight. Not all the time, because everybody don't get along with their parents, but for majority of time. So I could say for me, I didn't really deal with my baby mom's mother, but when she became pregnant, I was dealing with her on a daily basis, and it was almost to the point she was trying to edge me out the way. She got a doctor's appointment. She want to go on a doctor's appointment. I got 3 people in the car that one that ain't supposed to be in there. But how do you say, does your mom got to go?
I mean, you can definitely say it.
It's easier said than done.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm used to cursing people out, just not people's mama. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it don't happen, but, I started acquiring different things that I just wasn't used to having to put up with.
Right.
Her sister came out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? You got cousins, everybody that wanted to see you pregnant, they come popping up.
It's dynamic.
It's
dynamic.
Yeah, it's just kind of one of those things that, and on top of that, we not doing what we normally do. And I can't speak for every man. I'm only going to speak for myself. For me, I wasn't used to the belly of a woman. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I know the whole saying, hey, woman get pregnant, she hornier, the pussy wetter, it's warmer, this and that. I ain't disagreeing with none of it. I just wasn't feeling it. When she started getting real big, I just didn't want to touch her. You know what I'm saying? It just was like one of the. It's just like now I'm doing moves I ain't normally do. You know what I'm saying? Like it just we not in the same sexual bracket we was in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When shit just start moving, it's like I'm spooning fucking. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't used to do this before.
Right.
It's just the dynamic just starts.
It does.
It
The
just starts
sexual
to change.
dynamic, the dynamic in the relationship changes, and you hit on, you said the perfect thing for a segue is, I don't know about everybody else, but things change. So that was going to be my next thing. Not only does the dynamic change, but now all the things you used to be able to do. So now we can go from pregnant to giving birth to the baby. There's no way that you're going to the strip club. You're not going out to the nightclub. You're not keeping your man stimulated now because you can't go. So now you feel lonely because he does have to get out and be stimulated. It's important to a man's well-being to get out there. I don't give a fuck what they say.
You definitely hadn't been pregnant.
I sure haven't.
Trying to get out the house with a pregnant woman.
I get it.
Like, that's probably the most angriest woman I think I've ever met.
And that's an issue for me because before you were with child, you understood that he needed to go out and you let him go out. It's just that he took you with him. So you were fulfilling the demands of the need and he allowed you to be present. When you get pregnant, he's not going to want to drag you out with him while he's going to get stimulated. He's not going to want to do that. He's going to want to leave you home. And I know it's hard to hear, especially pregnant women who have been left home alone, or somebody that's pregnant that's looking at this like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're encouraging me to be okay with my man going out when he should be here with me. No, he's not with child. And when he's home with you and child, he needs to have a peace of mind. And he can't have a peace of mind if he was in the house with you all fucking day, listening to you fart, rub your feet, and running back and forth to the refrigerator. So this is the time where I get it. You're pregnant. So it's okay for you to be selfish, but it's not smart for you to be selfish. Because they even say now, a happy mother is the best mother. Well, then why does that not apply to the man? You cannot be a good mother. You cannot be a good mother if you're miserable. You neglect your children. You yell at your children for the littlest things. Can I have water, mommy? Fuck no, because you mad at Leroy. A happy mother can't be a good mother or a constructive mother or a nurturing mother because what if they're going through in life? It is the same thing with a man. He can't be a good man to you or a good father to his child if he is not at peace. And part of leaving the house is getting the peace. So I think the rules of engagement change. So we've talked about dynamic, and now the rules of engagement have to change because you're with child. And I just think that's asinine. If anything, before you get with child, you talk about these things so that when you are with child, it's okay for him to be out on a Friday, Saturday night. It's not a surprise to you. So the dynamic change and then the rules of engagement definitely change. And you mentioned sister and auntie. Well, those are the people who are telling her that it's okay to change the rules of engagement. You're pregnant. It's okay to feel like that. You're pregnant. Girl, he should definitely be home with you. You're pregnant. So it just changes the rule of engagement. And you know what? It's pushing the man farther away than it is bringing him close. I'm not saying that that's going to last, but I'm saying in that moment, that's how I would take it, is that I'm pregnant and now all the rules change. We can't keep your Friday night date. You can't keep your Saturday night date. I think we have a comment.
You guys, ZJX65 says, see, my personal note, there is what you want. So she's on what do you want?
What do I want? On a personal note, what do you want? Yeah. She's asking me.
Being pregnant. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's all about what you want, because you are with child. And that comes from, where do we get it from? Where is it even learned? It's funny because last week we talked about the woman's handbook, and I think that's just in the handbook. No one had to tell us that. It was just passed down that this is what's supposed to happen when you're with child. Well, for sure.
But you just gave the answer. Mm-hmm. You said auntie, mom, everything else. This is where it comes from.
That's where it comes from. Yeah.
Now, and this is why I said this is what changes the dynamic, and this is how, saying it in politically correct way is like this is what fractures the relationship, because the guy feels like he's in an all-out war. I would say for me, now I came from a 2-parent household. I am also very prideful of my name. The mother said, well, we should hyphenate the name. It should be it should be Perry hyphen this. Now, last I checked, I ain't fucking your mama. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to figure out how your mama got an opinion about a name. You understand? Like, this is the type of shit that men are dealing with. And depending on the dynamic of the mother and the daughter, in my case, they were close. So she ain't fighting for me. She ain't giving no pushback. Like, well, my mom think it's no. And so that's where you getting that from. Like, it's like you become in that war where you're fighting a situation where you like, I'm trying to be respectful, but they getting on my motherfucking nerves. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And then it eventually just gets to the point where I'm mad at you for not sticking up for me. Mm-hmm. You also got other people in your ear that's not in our relationship. They wasn't here before. When we was having a fuck fest free fall, going out and all this type of shit, I ain't seen nobody chipping in no money. I ain't seen nobody help pay no rent. I ain't see nobody doing any of that shit. But the minute the woman get pregnant, they want to be in the spare bedroom.
Rules of engagement. We know we don't have no overnight guests.
Like, they start doing shit like habitually line crossing. Mm-hmm. Like, just for the fuck of it. Mm-hmm. And depending on the guy, some will sit back and just let it happen. For me, I refuse to let it happen. Mm-hmm. So I was immediately like, hyphen, nothing. That's not happening. I'm naming my son because it's my son.
Right.
And it's my firstborn son. And you have to start stepping up for that, but I'm quite sure because I'm not giving in to her or her mama and some of the things they want, and women saying, well, I'm pregnant, like, what about me? But we're so used to the dynamic of treating men like shit, or they don't give a fuck about, like, what the fuck we think. Right. Like, two occasions that happened in, weddings, and when women are having babies. That's when the man's opinion is less asked more than anything.
And that forces your hand, which brings me to what I think happens number 3 on the list. What happens is now the real person is exposed. The real person you're with, whether we're talking about the baby mama or the baby daddy. The real person emerges, not the soft, not the kind, because now you're aggravated. Now, mama talking about a baptism, and now you letting mama know you ain't no Christian and you don't even believe in God. She didn't know this before. So there's no need for her to pry or no need for y'all to have that conversation. Now that there's a baby in the mix, now we get to see who everybody is because mama and sister are here to spend the night. But wait a minute. Y'all, you never told your mama and sister that I'm the type of person that don't like a lot of house guests. I don't want nobody sleeping on my couch. But these are the type of conversations that don't come up without the woman changing the dynamic and the rules of engagement. It forces now the guy to come in the room and say, okay, I know who you met, but this is who the fuck I am. I don't want you to stay tonight. I don't want to give you a ride because I don't feel like you should be going to my doctor's appointment with me. I don't want my son baptized, and I don't believe in hyphenating fucking names. These are all things that would blow people who have been out of a relationship away. What about this one? I don't believe in spanking. I'm going to whoop your ass. Wait, hold on. Where does that come from? I don't believe in spanking kids. It could be something as little as I can't wait till he grows up because I'm not going to allow A, B, and C. Well, what do you mean? Because are we going to spank our kid? Because I don't believe in spanking. You see, all these conversations force people to come face to face with who they are really with. So that's my 3rd on the list. So far I've said dynamic, rules of engagement, and now being face to face with the real person and not the representative. A lot of times things are smooth in your house or with family based on a narrative that you've created off of the person you shook hands with. He's got a real nice firm handshake. He's so well spoken. You know what? He treats my daughter really well, but they didn't know you didn't believe in God because there was no need to have that conversation. So I think that's another thing that a baby brings forward is who you're really in a relationship with and the differences that you guys have or the different ideas that you guys have surrounding raising the child.
Now, I'm going to go a little further. With that, you're half right with that. You find out who the person really is. For me, that was really my first time experiencing the idea of I can't just pick a woman for physical, like, look. because I failed to do the research of her family, the background. Like these are things that you're initially supposed to do, and the
Before baby.
and the biggest one of them all is if I wasn't gonna marry her, it's too late now. So often is just being in a relationship, guy and woman. You get them pregnant before getting married, and that's just like a norm type scenario. But I can remember
That's called priorities.
so you got that taking place. Now, part of it sometimes isn't always that either. I can remember being in the delivery room when my son was being born. And this ain't have nothing to do with just her family, or anything like that. Well, it kind of did. The first thing was she's in pregnancy. They say, hey, one person going into the room. Her mama stepped up. I'm like,
Huh?
now, this was the first time when you like, you know what? Normally you cool, and this is when you gotta curse somebody ass out. Like, I hate being in a hospital doing this, but I'm trying to think to myself, how in the hell do you think this is okay? They say one person in the room, and I get it. It's your daughter. You know what I'm saying? But this is my child being born, and in my case, this is my son being born. So, had to step in and take care of that situation. Then you get in the delivery room, and I'm talking about me. I got in the delivery room, and the nurse acted funny in there. They asking her, is it okay for him to be in here? Is it okay for him? I'm like, I done seen every inch of hole of her that there is. I'm trying to figure out, like, why in the hell are you asking? Is it okay for me to be on the other side of this, whatever it is, gurney or whatever the hell they call it? Like, what do you mean? I've seen every part of her. And it's really that the guy, we have to fall on our shield a lot of times. It's like it becomes, again, like with pregnancies, it's what the woman wants. They always attending to what the woman wants. The guy's nature is always going to be put down and put back and everything like that. Like, I can't even remember. I think they came to me last about signing his name. You know, when they asked about his name, they looked at her.
So you just feel like you don't get enough attention.
Like, what's his name? Well, I mean, she actually, you know, the comment to me was, you know, it was what the women want. I get that. You know what I'm saying? But the guy doesn't really get anything out of it. And I think now that more men don't feel like it's an equal type of scenario where it's like a 2-family household. And that also could be because you didn't get to the married point. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So if you having a baby before you get married, I'm not saying it could probably stop some of that. Not stop it, but you know what I'm saying? You could put a little boundary in, because now you'll have at least the to be like, well, I'm the husband. So that hyphenated name and all that other type shit wouldn't even come into play, because now you are the husband versus being the baby daddy. Right. I just impregnated her.
Right. I definitely get that. I think what also changes for you, it sounds like priority and level of where you fall on the list stands out the most. For me, what really stands out the most, I would have to say, would be the illusion and the fantasy now ended. Down to what she used to look like, how much fun you used to have together. And now the realism of having to take care of somebody for 18, 21 years, the finances, all that stuff come into play. It's no longer fun. I think that's what I want to say, is that it's not the same type of fun that it is, one-on-one, having that new relationship energy. Now it shifts. Yeah. Now you're not there because you want to be.
Yeah.
Right now it's there because you have to be.
Yeah, it's obligation.
Not saying that fathers don't want to be fathers, but you certainly don't have the same options that you had before. The options that you had before that seemed so easy to execute are not as easy to execute when you get a woman.
I mean, I don't look at obligation as a bad thing, and that's the problem with a lot of people. A lot of times, like, people hear these words and they be like, you become obligated as a father. You know what I'm saying? So I don't look at that as a bad thing. I welcome the obligation. It's people that's stopping me from doing what I got to do, but also I start to prioritize. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about finances and stuff like that. And like I said, we always, like, you want to do such a good job because really at the end of the day, you want to set an example for your kid. But secondly, if it don't work out, you are the last person they looking at. Now, granted, times have changed where there are fathers that take their kid. But 9 times out of 10, let's just say, for instance, like, you have a woman that y'all are on the rocks already, and then she have your child. Well, she take your child immediately. Like, somewhere, hey, I'm finna go stay with my mama. Like, this shit ain't working out, so I'm finna go stay with my mama. And you immediately are the bad guy. And it immediately becomes on you. Well, if you want to be a father, then you should come where I'm at. But I didn't have you there. We had that child here in whatever state, that we had it in. Now you going to see your mama, and I didn't have no say-so in it. And now I got to swallow my pride and hunt you down because you upset, you don't feel comfortable, hey, I need my mama, or whatever the case may be, and run down there. You see what I'm saying? And then that fractures our relationship because we're not doing what we used to do because now the child is there, and you saying, well, I'm going to do what I want to do for me and my child. It ain't even our child. It's, I'm going to do what I want to do for me and my child. You get X'd out of that scenario again. So another fracture in the relationship. Like, this is how the relationship get fractured. Like, how do you come back from that? Like, damn, you're not even acknowledging that it's our child.
Right.
You know when we get acknowledged that it's our child?
When they do something bad.
When they do something bad.
I think overall, just to bring the conversation to a head, I think all these things are avoided if you wait to get pregnant. Because by then, you know what makes your husband ticks, what makes him piss him off, what motivates him, what really shifts the dynamic. Because you've been with this person long enough to know that, hey, if I'm going to have a baby, then I need to be, maybe I need to I always believed in planning my pregnancy down to what the room would look like, when I would get pregnant, when I would give birth, the whole nine. Because if you're like me who has problems conceiving, it's down to a science. You need to have sex on this day, elevate your feet, and then we'll check you, and you should be pregnant, and this is when you should be expecting. So if you're doing it in that detail, you can be as organized as possible. But you know what else you work in there? How to be a great girlfriend or a great wife while being pregnant. How to maintain your relationship with your spouse while you're pregnant. All those things could be planned, talked about, conversate. Now, do things change? Absolutely. I'm not saying having a conversation is the scroll. Okay, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is if you're planning the pregnancy, then you should also be smart enough to have these kind of conversations to avoid the breaking of the relationship. The baby forces the hand. The baby forces the man to stay if he didn't want to. The baby forces a whole lot of shit on the woman. I don't even have to talk about it. She's stuck with the baby no matter what the man does. She's pregnant. She's the one that's carrying it.
But she's not, though. That's the thing.
There are other options for women. I get it. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to be that specific. I'm just saying that she is stuck without keeping that baby. She's still stuck with the fact that she's going to carry the baby. She's got to deliver the baby, hand the baby off. And if she has abortion, that's still something that's never forgotten. So she still got pregnant. And it still is going to fracture her, whether she gives the birth to the baby or not. It's still a fracture. So I think if you are in a position where you are in a relationship and you're not pregnant now, then don't get pregnant later. Don't get pregnant on accident. Plan it and have these conversations ahead of time. Get to know your partner so that you're just pregnant with the rep. The rep finds out you're pregnant and he's like, well, I'm just a rep. I wasn't here to stay. You don't even know me. You understand what I'm saying?
You don't know her.
Right, and you don't know her. And I think that comes to a head. The two people in the situation, I think everything that we've just discussed shows that the two people in the relationship don't know each other. Mm-hmm. They don't. Because the things that I'm naming that are a problem aren't going to be a problem with two people who have a solid foundation built. I know when my spouse's bad moods are. I know when his back hurt or when he has a headache that I need to be quiet. You know what I'm saying? It's the wrong time to find out your spouse gets headaches when you have a baby crying in the house. Because to you finding out, I get migraines, I can't stand babies crying. Well, damn, that would have been good to know before we got pregnant. That would have been good to know before I had the baby. Now, we're having a conversation about something I can't fix. My baby's crying and you got a headache. What the fuck am I supposed to do about it? Of course I'm going to have that attitude because I didn't do proper planning.
A lot of people don't do proper planning.
Of course not.
And that's the majority of the reason why the relationships fail, because you start seeing what people will tolerate, some people will
what they can't,
and what they, just what gets on their nerve, who will bail on their responsibilities, who will try to keep you from their responsibilities. It's a lot of things that start coming into play, and then a lot of times women have also expectations once they have a child.
Yep.
And then they start to do ultimatums or try to apply pressure to you. Mm-hmm. So now that I have your baby, what's up with marriage?
Yeah, what's next?
You know what I'm saying? And if I say, well, I really wasn't thinking about marriage, or I need to think about it, it becomes now, when you didn't have to think about it when we was fucking.
Right, because that's what I would say. If I got pregnant and I had a baby and I said, you know what, we have a baby now, like, what do you think about getting married? Mm-hmm. And my spouse said to me, or my partner said to me at that time, well, I don't believe in marriage. Mm-hmm. I would fucking lose my shit.
But whose fault is that?
Let me finish. Because I'll take the blame, okay? I don't have no problem with that. But I'm going to fucking lose my shit that we've been doing all this fucking unprotected, and you've been nutting all up in this, and you're not associating making love to me unprotected and nutting me in me. You don't associate that with long term. I'm not going to use the word marriage. But you don't associate that with long term if you don't believe in marriage.
But long term could be long term as far as co-parenting with the...
Who the fuck gets pregnant to get into a co-parent situation?
Nobody does, but what I'm saying is, like, when you say the word long term, I'm gonna go out on a limb like most women and say that you're saying marriage. But my problem with that is this. Because you didn't do your research, and because you didn't look into, and just like me, just like I said, but because you didn't do your research and didn't see if his parents are married, how he feel about it, that shit that you talking about becomes non and void. All this nutting in me and all this type of shit, like, I was taught, protect yourself. It's like that in fights. It's protect yourself at all times. And what I get sick and tired of is like when women say, well, we was doing this, we was fucking together. At no point in time, pro-choice, your body, your choice. You ain't have to let me enter you with no without no rubber. You made that decision to, like, it's just as simple as you let me go in raw. It's just as simple as, hey, could you put a condom on? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not on birth control. Giving somebody like a motherfucking heads up. You know what I'm saying? The problem is the shoe drop and you immediately go to, well, I got the baby, so we should just get married. And I feel like that's unfair to the guy. Like, you're not finna derail my life, or if I feel like you derailing my life just because you got pregnant. Like, some of those things happen because either the guy still want to go to school. If school's not the problem, he's on a mission as far as like where he want to be. And it's mainly because guys think about finance first. And I think that's one of the major problems. Women ain't thinking about the finance. The man is thinking about the finance. And if I can cut a finance in half, like take care of my child and not take care of you, that's my goddamn choice.
Yeah, straight up. I get that. I definitely get that. I just find it really agitating. And trust me, I don't take it hard on women. I mean, I don't take it light on women. I'm hard on them. Because at the end of the day, I think the wrong decisions were made by them. They chose that situation. Mm-hmm. But I also don't like the fact that a man thinks it's okay to conceive with a woman and not attach that to a long-term goal. It's just like, we had a baby. What's the big deal? We got a son. That's just my baby mama. Like, it's just so nonchalant. And that bugs me because bringing a child in the world is a really big deal. Raising the child is a really big deal. But more importantly, who you have your child with is most important. Who is this person? And so if you have a person who doesn't associate having that type of sex with long-term relationships, it's pretty easy for me to start thinking, well, how many other people does he have sex without condoms with? How many other kids could he have out there? How many other times has this happened? Because this doesn't seem like a big deal to him. You're pregnant? Cool. What are we having for dinner? Because ain't shit changing. We're not getting married. I'm not trying to change no diapers. The only thing that's different is your ass is pregnant. That's it.
But this is the flip side of the coin. You know, we pride ourselves on being real, right? This is the real part of it. Y'all both having raw sex. It's going down. You get what I'm saying? You fuck around and get pregnant. You say to me, you know, I'm pregnant. Now, I personally don't believe in it, but I'm not every man. Man says, okay, you pregnant. I don't want that child. That you get an abortion. You can give it away. You can do whatever. And then the woman, despite what he says, has that child
Still
anyway.
has it.
And see, this happens more often than you think. And now you looking at the man because he wasn't happy when you said he was pregnant. Like, you saw that shit all on his face, but you ignored that because sometimes that's what women just do. You know what I'm saying? You say, hey, babe, you know what I'm saying? You want some chicken? You know what I'm saying? With some cheese on it, this and that. She just bring you the chicken. You know what I'm saying? Damn that cheese. And a lot of times, this is what happened when you say you pregnant. You hear what you want to hear. You get what I'm saying? Like, not too long ago, on one of these tap-ins, I said this exact same thing. Woman says, I don't want to date no man with kids. The man has 2 kids. She didn't want kids. She fucked around and got pregnant. And now you're trying to give an ultimatum because you had this child from the 2 things that you say you didn't want. Who fucking fault is that?
It's definitely the choice of hers, and I'm not taking away from that. But what I'm saying is, I think men have to take the responsibility, of who they conceive with. For heaven's sakes, this is the mother of your child. So I'm not speaking for everybody, and I know I don't speak for everybody in the world, but I'm going to make a big assumption. Okay? Most people, when they think about what a parent is like, we think of things like, hey, reading a story before bed, teaching a child their prayers, teaching them how to write in cursive. I mean, just certain things that are special between parent and child. Well, if I don't know my girlfriend or her education, or I'm not checking out her Carfax, how in the fuck am I even risking that? Fuck the fact that she didn't ask me to wear a condom and that we're just doing this and she just got pregnant on accident. Fuck all that. Where is the thought that if I should get this person pregnant, would she be a good parent to my seed? That's what bothers me, is that there's so many men that I meet because of the business that I'm in, and they clean, fresh, got money, smell good. And you're thinking, wow, this man has really got it together. And then you see his baby mama.
Not to get off
She
topic,
drops the mic.
but I can't read this name. But she said, what do you guys think about the woman that voted for alimony for life? Say, yep, that happened.
If that happened, this is very interesting
She
that
said,
you asked.
yeah, that happened. Definitely happened.
Very interesting that she brought up that question, because I am an advocate of forever marriage, and I'm an advocate of the prenuptial agreement. And in my personal prenup, I am okay with leaving the marriage with what I came in with. However, I did write in a kind of a clause that if we should get divorced, yes, I'll leave with what I brought to the table. However, I want my husband to make sure my living arrangements are met. So I would require my ex-husband, if we were to get a divorce, to pay the rent or the mortgage where I live. Okay. So I don't mean, so that can be considered.
And if you're with child.
And if you're with child, I still think that's a good idea. One, child support till 18 would work for me. And then making sure that my living expenses are taken care of. And we will use this as another topic for another show because I don't want to get stuck on it. But I think that makes sense. The child support checks that we hear people complaining about, daddy's always saying, my child support check don't go to my child. Well, guess what? It costs a lot of money to raise your child. Dance, the equipment that they need for dance, that means the shoes, the stockings, the hair ties, the gas to drop them off, pick them up, all the field trips that they go on. It takes a lot to be a single mother and take care of a child. So I believe in child support, let me finish, till 18, but I also believe in housing. Make sure that the mother's environment is fit to raise your child. If you're worried about the check that you're sending her for child support, then in that same sentence or in that same thought, you should be concerned about the environment that your child is growing up in. It's because if she's taking that child support check and paying other shit with it, then that's a red flag. Mm-hmm. Let me go see where my baby mama stay at. Let me go see how she living. Do she got bugs? You need to know all of those things. And because of that, if you are paying not through her, she don't get the rent money. You call the landlord. You know the property management. You know the house because you bought it. You know it's in a good neighborhood. So I think that is fair. Child support till 18 or 21 and housing. That's what I'm asking for. I just want my living expenses paid after my divorce.
Just like your face and that mic you dropped, I'm finna pick that up for you. Whatever. So at the end of the day, this is the thing what I was talking about, and this is why this happens with men, because you're hitting on some of the key topics of why babies ruin shit. I'm gonna go back to what you were just saying about like fucking raw, and do you see that person like that? It's mighty funny, like when women want to change their mind about shit, it's easy for them to change their mind. But when men want to change their mind, just like we was like, well, hey, you was fucking a raw and like, damn, you didn't see long term with him. Yeah, I probably saw long term at some point in time.
Until she got pregnant?
And then when she get pregnant, you start to see some other shit that you start to say that, hey, I just don't fucking feel no more. And I'm entitled to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because at some point in time when we was fucking, I ain't know about how your mama. I ain't know about your aunties and shit like that that's going to be on your ear. I didn't know the disrespect level that was going to come towards me. And if I opt not to fucking go through with that shit, like marry your ass and the rest of that shit, you can congratulate yourself for that. Because just like I said, like when you have your mama trying to give my child a hyphenated name, that's a strike against not only your mama, but you as well. So for me, if I don't want to continue or be married to you or want to marry you, it's my goddamn choice. Because just like it would be your choice if you say, I don't want this child. I just want to go ahead and get an abortion. And then women just go get the abortion. The man didn't have nothing to fucking do with that. They did it on their goddamn own. And now, once we move to the alimony and all this other type shit, it's mighty funny to me that women always, you know what I'm saying, want this man to have the short end of the shit, short end of the stick. I get it. You can always negotiate for whatever it is that you want. Okay? Just if the man agrees to it. Now, that what you just asked for. What was it?
I want housing.
Gotcha. Housing. Now, I don't got no problem paying for your housing. Any of that shit. I find to see myself as kind of like a fair guy. You know what I'm saying? But it also comes with this type of shit too. You want the housing? I don't want no man in my house. You can't date either, because I'm financing your ass. You know what I'm saying? I don't find that a lot to ask for. You want to be a mother, right? Be a goddamn mother then. You know what I'm saying?
You
be a mother.
So
I'll let you talk. Oh I'll let you talk. You know what I'm saying? Because this is the thing this is the thing I don't get. And then we'll go even a little further. You don't like that part? Then you're going to fucking hate this part. The other part of this shit is like that shit you be talking about. Like sometimes it's so one-sided that I'm trying to figure out like, wow, women don't want to do this. And that's why I said that when the woman has the child, it becomes theirs. It's like, you want me to pay the child support. You know what I'm saying? You want me to pay for the shoes. You want me to pay for every goddamn thing that's going on. And I'm not saying I should be absolved of the shit. But you want to know a quick fix to that shit right there? Then let's just half this shit on up. You know what I'm saying? See, this is the thing that don't go down that women don't want to do because they want to fight you tooth and fucking nails behind it. Let's go 6 months, 6 months. You know what I'm saying? And then I'll pay child support while you got the child and shit go like that. And then when the child come to me, you can pay child support to me. But you know what? You know who don't want to do that shit? Yeah, you see how you laughing and shit? That's how women think. That bullshit right there. Because you want me to pay the shit, but you don't want to pay the shit. You don't want to get a child to me because your ass don't want to pay. You want me to pay everything. And that's typically how it go. Silent. Cricket ass quiet.
Next subject.
Mm-hmm.
That, like, seriously, that really annoyed me to no end. Like, seriously,
It's
got
facts.
under my skin.
That's how we feel. We feel annoyed to no end because it's like y'all take the child and we lose all control, and no one is saying that. You know what I'm saying? But y'all don't have to have that talk with your child on why you abandoned me or why you didn't come get me when mom took me 2,000 fucking feet away or some shit like that. And now that she has a man that's also in her mind because she got a new man. And then I got to fight with not only your ass, but I got to fight with him too. That's what you don't talk about. But when I have the child, you don't want another woman around your child. I got a daughter. Don't have nobody doing my daughter's hair, but you sent her to me with her hair not done.
Straight up.
The fuck you talking about?
We're going to have to pick up on this subject because we need to talk about that part of it. Just the two parents moving on with other partners. That's going to be an interesting topic.
Definitely do that.
So we'll switch for now and revisit that. We're going to have to really revisit that. That's a good topic. Very, very good topic. But this one is even better. Why are you the catch? You know, it's been like super crazy for me the last, 4 years that we've actually been doing the show. Longer than 4 years, I think, by now.
Yeah.
And that's how long I've been getting battered about some of the things that I actually say on the show towards women. I'm here to speak on the behalf of or from the perspective of a woman. So that's why you guys always hear me say, I. And with that being said, I have a lot of disagreements about what I hear women saying these days about not having a man. So instead of saying, why don't you have a man? The question is, why do you think you're the catch? Because that's actually what you're required to be if you're looking for that guy. And what I mean by that guy is the term you hear now is high value, but we don't have to even do that. Let's say got a job, loves his mama, dresses good, smells good, and got his own place. Simple attributes. Why should he choose you? So you have to self-eval. And guess what, guys? I self-eval every day, all day. Every single day. I'm looking at how I can be better. What's my worst habit? How can I counter that habit? What I'm speaking to a person who has a bad habit. You know, if you steal to leave your purse at home. You know. So you know when you know what your thing is. Everybody does. And I have that. How can I be better today? And it's always one step at a time. But I don't think you can answer the question that you've been asking or continue to complain as you've been complaining about not having a man without self-evaluating. When you self-evaluate, you'll be able to see why you haven't been chosen. Why are you the catch? Do you have a great job? Are you high value? Do you have children? Did you marry? Are you divorced? Are you more or less than 150 pounds? Are you bulimic? Are you anorexic? These are all things that a potential partner is going to be attracted to or unattracted to. So instead of saying, I don't know why I don't know why I'm alone. I don't know why I can't find a great date. men are just bad. Men are just this, or the dating scene is just bad or slow. No. Not true. It's you. It is 155% you. It's either what you're putting out in the world and getting back, or it's what you're putting out in the world. And what I mean by that is, it's either your energy or it's you personally, the way you look. What I mean by energy is on the inside. The law of attraction. You're just not putting out the right energy to get the right energy back. And what I mean by you is physical. And I don't pretty much like to talk about physical all the time because it comes, no matter how nice I deliver the message, it sounds mean if I tell you you're fat.
Damn that. Call their ass fat.
But if you're fat meaning just out of shape.
Linebacker size.
Right. You know what I'm saying? If you're a bigger person, then I don't think it's mean for me to say self-eval, look in the mirror and say, would you be attracted to that? You got 3 or 4 chins, a couple of bellies, a couple, and you're saying, why can't I find anybody? Well, you look like Norbit.
Because some women think that they PhDs, their careers supersede that.
And it bothers me. I shouldn't have made the Norbit joke because people have real challenges and there is somebody for everybody. But my thing is, you don't see that. You don't see your body.
They don't see that.
You don't recognize that. And I had a moment of clarity. I wasn't in a good relationship, but the guy that I had, okay, I'll stop and you go ahead.
Female nature exposed 676. Energy doesn't matter if a man doesn't find the woman attractive.
I beg to differ. You know why I beg to differ? It's been 100% of men to tell me this. I didn't like her at first. She's not my type, but. I heard that all the time. I usually wouldn't talk to this person, but damn, I was stuck with her at a party. By the end of the party, we were just having conversation, her vibe. It's just her vibe. I heard that just yesterday. So you're definitely wrong. Men are definitely attracted to energy. Men definitely, if they are in a place with you long enough, will see past your yellow teeth.
And then
see past your beautiful teeth.
And then
because they're having a conversation with you.
And a lot of people also, what they have to also realize that now, because of social media, some of the ways that people meet, people are socially awkward. Like, they don't know how to talk and hold conversations, and especially women. Women always think we in this time when it's like, when the last time you dropped a napkin and had a guy pick it up? Or did you even think about that shit? Like, women just want to sit there and just like, well, shit, I'm good enough. He just gonna come over to me. You know, I don't know where y'all get this concept from. You know what I'm saying? But they won't even put their best foot forward. You know what I'm saying? And they think their best foot forward is being masculine, acting like a man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Well, you know, I'm a nurse and I make $82,000 a year and I got my PhD and all this type of shit. Like, that shit men do. That's called dick measuring. You know what I'm saying? And I'm supposed to be sitting down across from you and be attracted with you. Mm-hmm. And I double down on what you said. There's a lot of times I've been in situations when I've met an attractive woman. I'm going to tell you something about energy. I've met attractive women. And because of their energy, a lot of times I become unattracted to them. That's energy. And then sometimes I might meet a woman who I typically wouldn't go for, but the sex appeal in her comes out. And it's what intrigues me. And then I start to go for her. I start to say, damn, there's something a little bit behind them eyes. Mm-hmm. There's something in between that brain. I find that sexy too. A lot of times if you women learn how to talk, have a conversation, drop some of that masculine energy, become feminine, you would have that energy that you looking for. Mm-hmm. Not that shit you put on Instagram. That's fake. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But real energy.
I'm gonna pick up on that. That was a great segue. Social media. Law of attraction. If you get online boo-hoo crying about being lonely, what do you think you will attract? It's just a question. I'm hurting. I'm lonely. I just want my own guy. What do you think putting that out in the universe is going to get you back? It is just a question. I do not understand at all what is happening on social media. From, damn, I'm by myself tonight, wish I had a cut buddy, or I'm so lonely. These things make you look weak as fuck. And you just put that seed in that motherfucker that's watching you on social media that you're weak. So he's going to be the motherfucker in your inbox telling you not to cry. You're so beautiful. And he is going to take you for every fucking thing you got because you showed your fucking weakness. And you know what it is? It's not only weak to me, it's thirsty.
Question?
Yes. Female nature exposure 676. Based off your logic, so a woman will find a broke or short guy attractive when he has good energy.
She's taking it to the Super Bowl because
hold
she
on.
disagrees.
Wait a minute. Who's that question for?
That will be you.
For me?
I don't think so.
No, she said a guy that's short. So of course she's talking about me. She said if you see a guy that's short and ugly, you're gonna like him because of his energy. So she's saying a guy, then the question is definitely for me because I'm the only woman here on camera. So if a guy is short and ugly, I've dated a guy that wasn't short and ugly, but I dated a guy that was 300 pounds and ugly, honey. It was all about his swag. That's energy. So yes, I have given my attention to a person I would never, couldn't even see myself with this person. Yeah, I just to answer that question and then to go back to what I was saying,
Right.
I just think that to piggyback what Alpha Male was saying, like that energy that we're fishing with, whether it's with tears or with a sexy picture, whatever thirst trap energy you're trying to put out there, that energy needs to be redirected to self. All that on social media, making videos, doing all that should be now turned around back on you. Go run. Go get your hair done. Go get your nails done. Go sit with the therapist. Soon as you feel like posting a thirst trap, again, a thirst trap could be you crying or you posting a sexy pic or a provocative post. You just want attention. All of it is the same. You want attention. What you don't know is you're not going to get the attention you think you're getting. You're going to get people who are preying on you. So you need to switch it around, take the energy from that and just put it on self-improvement. Then you could say, I'm a fucking catch, not am I a catch. You will be able to confidently look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm 150 pounds soaking wet and I look fucking good. That makes me a catch. I make $100,000 a year. That makes me a catch. My kids aren't fucking terrible. That makes you a catch. You understand? You getting what I'm digging at? You gotta have it together. That's why you're by yourself. And you know what? Sometimes you're by yourself because you need to be by yourself. That energy needs to be on raising your children, making sure your ass is straight, healthy. So it's time for you to be alone. Do women even think about that? That you might be alone in this season because you need to be?
I would say this. To kind of go off of what she was saying, and I'm not even a woman, so I'm gonna tell you from a man standpoint. I've seen a bunch of women with a bunch of ugly dudes, and a lot of times women, correct me if I'm wrong, sometimes that I feel like women don't even care about looks sometimes. Like I've seen women with dudes and I'm like, that's for money. Some have said, makes me feel safe. He's big, so he just makes me feel safe. They think he's a big teddy bear. And ugly. Yeah, big and ugly. And then you have some men looking at that and trying to figure one or two things out. Now, some of it could be energy. You know what I'm saying? I would never tell a woman, like, you know, what type of energy they looking for. So whether it's to be safe, whether they, not too long ago, you have, I think it's Asian Doll and Jack Boy. She said that she had the most handsome person that she went with as far as King Von. King Von passed. Now she's with Jack Boy. Jack Boy is not... He's
not King Von.
Yeah. And but she said, I had the most handsomest, And now I'm cool with not having no most handsomest. So why would I take myself through that again? He was handsome, and look how he did me. You see what I'm saying? So her concept to me was like, he ain't as handsome. He's a little bit, not handsome, but I shouldn't get treated as bad because he's not as handsome as him. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Now, men don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Men don't look at women and be like, well, because this woman is fat, it's almost...
She might treat me better.
She might treat me better, or she can't cheat on me. You understand what I'm saying? Our concept is, if I fuck her, someone else want to fuck her. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And women don't think like that.
No, we certainly don't.
Like, women don't think like that. Like, that's a concept that keeps us safe 9 times out of 10. Like, we already know that. Like, well, shit, if I'm fucking her, someone else will fuck her. Mm-hmm. Like this isn't a hard concept. Mm-hmm. But for some strange reason, women do that. Like, they'll get the man and then y'all ass backwards. You know what I'm saying? They'll get the man and try to fatten him up. You know what I'm saying? Try to put him in a form that you think is unattractive to other people. You know what I'm saying? You see your homeboy later on, you be like, damn, boy, you ain't missing no meals. Yeah, man, she been cooking for me. No, she been fattening you up. You know what I'm saying? Like, she trying to make sure you really not available for the market. But the concept would still work again. And what I just said, if you fucking them, someone else
would. Definitely. Yeah. So yeah, that this topic for me has been a long time coming, and I think we've had some similar, about fishing out of your own pond, finding the right guy. A lot of the women that I hear commiserating about not having someone, I haven't met one yet, I'll say, that doesn't need self-improvement.
I can tell you a lot that needs self-improvement.
Yeah, I have not met one single person yet to say, I'm single, and my answer was why. Never. Never have I said, you're single? Why? You're beautiful. You're rich. You don't have kids. I mean, never once in my entire life have I had a conversation with another woman and ended with, I don't get it. I don't get why you're single. You are definitely cream of the crop.
You say you never had a conversation with a woman?
I've never met a woman where at the end of her complaining, I didn't understand why she was single.
Okay. But did she feel that way? Because to me, that is the problem. Do they feel that way?
No, that's why we're asking, are you a catch? Because we need you to realize that you are single because of you.
But women think they can have it all. And the thing and the thing about that is, and this is hardcore truth, like seriously.
Yeah.
For all my TikTok followers and stuff like that, I've been putting up clips. I thank y'all for actually looking and paying attention and stuff like that. It's good. But those are also sound bites. But one particular sound bite that has kind of just been catching traction is where women think that what's wrong with us having it all. So going back to your point, if you 200-something pounds and you are 5'4", you weigh more than a man. I understand this, but you don't understand this. You think everybody should love you. You feel like there's no boundaries. You feel like you should get everything you want. I'm not saying you cannot ask for what you want, but that don't mean you deserve everything that you want. Just because your mama told you you can have it all. Like, there's a rating system in this world for everything. Mm-hmm. In a beauty pageant, it's a rating system. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Called beauty. In the music industry, there's also a system. We have bigger singers. That's one. And we have smaller singers. Some bigger singers sing way better than the smaller singers. But guess who's selling the most records?
The smaller ones.
The smaller ones. Why? Because they selling sex appeal. Mm-hmm. So for you to think that I could have 4 kids, I'd be a nurse, and I don't have a problem with any of that, but the idea that if you're going to be at your level or what you want, that's fine. It's when you start reaching above that. You know what I'm saying? Just because you're a nurse with 4 kids and you got your shit together, then you meet another man who have no kids and he has his shit together and he's making astronomical money.
You
so don't get it twisted of what I'm saying. I'm not just saying, well, because he's an older guy that he just should go for a younger woman. He can, and 9 times out of 10 that does happen. But it mainly happens because you are out of your range.
Right, and I'm glad that you said that. You've been on point tonight with the segues. I always think that this conversation might not even be happening if they chose equivalent. Not above, not below, but equivalent. What I mean by that, if you're talking about somebody in the medical field that has children, who gives a fuck how many? But it would make sense for you to date somebody. They don't have to be in the medical field, but guess what they need to be? A father. Why the fuck would you think that you are going to attract a man who has no kids to your situation? Now, are there situations where, I met this really sweet guy who didn't have any kids and he fell in love with mine and we got married and we lived happily ever after? It's a big world. There are some great stories out there like that. But in general, I believe that if I were sitting here and I had 3 children, that it is likely that I am going to look for a man who is already a father. I'm not talking about an absent father. I'm talking about maybe someone who has 6 months on or off with his baby mama, someone who has custody of their children. I need to see him being an active father. Do you know why? Because I'm inviting him into my home to be a father to mine. And I don't know whether he's a good father to his. Where the fuck do they do that at? If you got kids, then you need to be dating a motherfucker with his own kids. Period. You can't convince me otherwise. You need to see him be a dad so that it's safe around your kids. And you know what? On top of that, I see a lot of women with kids looking for love. Fuck you. Is this motherfucker gonna touch your baby? You worried about getting some dick and you don't even know the history of the man that you're inviting in your home to be around your fucking kids. That's what angers me to no end. I don't want to have another fucking conversation with another friend or foe that say they lonely. Good. Because you got kids. I watched too much news where I was so in love and he touched my little girl. I was so in love and he fucked my son. Why? Because you was dick thirsty. Cut it out and go be a mama. And when it's time for you to date, the Lord gonna send you somebody that'll be good to you and your children. It ain't time for that yet. And I'm not telling women take a break from dating because you got children. I never said that. I said find another motherfucker with children. So at least you can say you found somebody that was equally yoked to your fucking situation. Instead of trying to pull a bitch out the rap industry with no fucking kids and want to wear a big chain and come be a stepdad. You cannot believe that is any way rational. It doesn't make any sense.
We got a question.
Yeah, female nature. Exposure 676. She said a lot of men who have kids don't want a woman with kids too.
They don't,
But that's
a good reason why.
But that's their prerogative, though. See, the thing about this is life isn't fair, and this is where we got to get off of this. You know what I'm saying? Like if we have to respect the woman's choice to go after, let's say for instance, like a woman, you have the idea that I have 4 kids and then I want to have my 4 kids taken care of. And you go for a man that can probably financially do it instead of going for a man financially yoked. It is your choice to do that. You might not be successful, but it is your right to want that. But it's also a man's right that if I have kids, I don't have to accept your kids. Because know what come with that? What you're not talking about is I have to deal with your baby daddies and what goes on with that. And your kids saying, well, you ain't my daddy. And then I can't beat your kids like way I beat my kids. And then have my kids feeling like it's some unequal shit going on in the house. Like, what man wants to deal with that shit? Like, those are things that women don't think about. You want me to take on your kids, but I can't touch them and they can be disrespectful to me.
You know what? It was the other day. I was talking to somebody because they had overheard a show about kids and they said, well, girl, I'm not going to make kids a big deal. He probably won't even see my kids. I can handle my kids myself. I said, stop. Do you want to get married? Yeah, of course I want to get married. So you're telling me with a sane mind, you're saying that you want to marry this guy and to make the deal sweeter, you're just going to tell him, don't worry, I got them. You don't have to feed them, clothe them, discipline them. I got it. Well, guess what, sister? You're already breaking the covenant of your fucking marriage. You can't marry a motherfucker that don't want to deal with your kids. How the fuck is that gonna work? So what, you gonna hide your husband in the upstairs bedroom while you downstairs beating the kid ass? This doesn't work that way. You have a marriage. You have a person has to live in the space with you. He has to interact with your children. So that ain't gonna work. I thought it was that most asinine. But girl, I got my kids. That's not a big deal. What do you mean you got your kids? You just told me 5 minutes ago you want marriage. It's your time. You want to be in a loving relationship. Then how the fuck do you keep your kids separate from that?
We don't know.
First of all, you're going to have to explain real good to the kids why the kids don't know your man, why they're not interacting, why they don't feel like that's at least, I don't know, stepdaddy? That's weird that you're going to keep them separate. Oh, you're just going to handle this thing yourself and ride off into the sunset with your new man, and he's not going to have to worry about your kids. That's unrealistic. You know why? Because there's going to be a date that's broken because of the kids. There's going to be a romantic night interrupted because of the kids. There are going to be kids in the bed with the motherfucker when he wake up in the morning.
And we going to have to tackle that on
Are you serious?
So we going to have to wrap it up. Let's move into the tap in before Lassa to get more enraged than she already is. Let's go ahead. What's the tap in?
So the tap in tonight came from somebody that I know personally. So it didn't come from an email, but she's going through relationship woes. So this is the thing. She is in a relationship, but the relationship is running out of gas. But before she gets out of the relationship, she kind of wants to play. Why? Because she wants to see if the grass is greener on the other side. I admired her honesty, because a lot of people wouldn't admit that. Yes, I'm in a relationship. I love who I'm with, but it's dry. So I just want to go see am I missing something? I want to go outside and play. And then I want to be able to make a decision then on whether to keep the relationship or not. So she's asking me, am I out of pocket? That is the question of the night. Is she out of pocket for going out and seeing what she's missing before making a decision about the relationship? Because what she's saying is, on a positive note, is I'm doing my research. I listen to other podcasters like Kevin Samuels, and he tells me that whoever I'm with, I need to try to make it work. So I don't want to jump the gun and get out of the relationship before doing my research. Well, going out and playing is research.
Well, Kevin Samuels ain't never said no shit like that.
No, he hasn't said that. I said he's encouraging people to stay in the relationships that they're in, that they have kids in. He always says that. What happened to your baby daddy? Why you didn't marry your baby daddy? You should have stayed with the man you was with. He always says that almost every show.
Gotcha. But clarifying that is that person putting themselves back on the market. And if I'm hearing you correctly, the person's already in a relationship.
Right. And they want to leave, but they don't want to leave prematurely without seeing what else they can get.
Gotcha. You're already premature and you're already a donkey. You know what I'm saying? Like really at the end of the day, this is also what I was saying about role reversals and women thinking they can do what men do. You know what I'm saying? Like, now we have this modern woman that's like, well, men do it, so why women can't do it? So I should be able to go out and play and do, see if it's green on that side, this and that, and then come back. You can, if you want to risk life and limb. Now, I don't know who you dating, you know what I'm saying? Because typically it's only beta males that allow this type of action. Because you wouldn't even be thinking about that shit if you felt your ass was going to get killed when you get back home. Because in my house, you will be. Either your shit going to be out on the porch or we just going to go to war. If you want to get out of it and everything is dry, I'm a firm believer of dead it.
Get out.
People do not, this whole concept of, well, I don't want to go see if it's on the other side, this and that. Like, would you want it done to you? This is what I always ask people. Just put that shit in reverse.
Okay, so now she's between a rock and a hard place.
Ain't no rock and a hard place.
If our advice is no, if your advice is no, you shouldn't go out and play.
I didn't say no.
Then what is my advice to someone who's saying, look, I'm not getting what I need? Mm-hmm. I did say something earlier. Men need stimulation. They need to go out and hunt. Women need certain stimulation too. They want to be told they smell good and all those things.
Gotcha. But before you go out and hop on another dick, have you sat down?
She didn't say hop on a dick.
Well, go out and play. That's where it's heading. You know what I'm saying?
So she want to cheat.
Yeah. So, like, really at the end of the day, like, this is the other thing, too, that, men would get accused of, and as a woman, she trying to be absolved of it. If a man went out and he got a girlfriend, and he was just hey, I'm just gonna take this woman out. I'm gonna have coffee with this and that. You think his girlfriend can walk in that restaurant and see both of them and he say, well, I ain't fuck her. Just have coffee. You understand what I'm saying? So my thing is cheating. Cheating ain't always just physical. You know what I'm saying? You giving your time to somebody else, so that's cheating. Period. Let's just go ahead and dead that whole scenario right there. Whether it's physical or whatever this and that. You didn't tell your spouse or whoever you with, and you out unbeknownst to him, because you wouldn't go home and tell him that. So you cheating. Now, why can't you just dead it? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. Like, some people...
Scary. There's a shortage of men. I totally get it.
Ain't no shortage of men.
Yes.
That's another concept that people are delusional about. There are no shortage of men. You got two right now. How's there a shortage of men? You know what I'm saying? You got one at home and you out on a date with another.
No. I get the concept of how do I consciously or intelligently walk away from a situation is stable. I know her, so her situation is stable.
Gotcha.
He hasn't done anything wrong.
Gotcha.
She's going through changes. She's not being stimulated. I really think it's less about sex and more about stimulation. Want to go out there and have conversations with people before she throws herself back in the dating world. She doesn't know what's out there.
Gotcha. She's not being honest. So, again, honesty. This is the thing. You're not being stimulated. She's married?
She is married.
Okay. There's such thing as called a marriage counselor. So that's your very first step that you need to be taking. Mm-hmm. Go see a marriage counselor. The counselor will guide y'all in the direction that y'all need to be in. Mm-hmm. And so if you need stimulation, he could point things out. There's a third party that's neutral away from y'all. Mm-hmm. And if that don't work, you can dead it. You don't have to go see somebody else. You know what I'm saying? You have another third person that's saying, looking at your husband, saying, this is how your wife feel. How do you feel about that? She probably she could probably bring up, I've been thinking about seeing other men.
Okay, so I should say this part. I left it out. She actually signed up for a spring singles retreat.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
So, it's a fucking singles retreat.
Okay, then
like
you cheating.
All single people are going on a retreat.
Is she single?
So she's not. No, she's not.
Okay.
She is not actively dating, but she signed up herself for the singles retreat to be like a plant, to go in there into the singles retreat and see what type of men are in that type of scenario and looking, so she can see without playing. She could actually see what the eligibility is like out there.
Gotcha.
You know, are there really good, high value, eligible bachelors out there? And the reason why she did the singles retreat is because she's married. Mm-hmm. How's she gonna make it work going to the club every Friday night? She can't. Well, she can't get out and mingle like she would unless she did this.
She needed to be in a marriage retreat, not a singles retreat. Again, we lit in delusion. Because in any other place, you know, like this is like that Jada Will bullshit. Again, like when women start saying shit like this and start believing this nonsense. And if it was in reverse, she wouldn't be thinking that way. If her man was doing the exact same shit, think about how you would feel. And that would give you your answer. Like, this is not rocket science. I'm not speaking in fucking Greek. You know what I'm saying? You're not happy. Go sit down with a marriage counselor. The marriage counselor can talk to y'all. And if you still are not at 100% smooth with what that person says, then that. But being sneaky and doing shit behind his back, and also going to sign up for a couples retreat. I couldn't even sign up for a singles retreat. Like, and that receipt come in the mail. My woman gonna be like, what the fuck is this shit? A singles retreat? I wasn't fucking nobody, baby. I just wanted to see if it was some eligible bachelorettes out there for me, just in case me and you don't work out. You understand what I'm saying? I didn't dip my dick in anything. Like, this is fucking bullshit.
I think it's totally work throughable. Just even hearing you say it, because it sounds terrible. It does.
It is terrible.
But with you sitting here saying the facts, yes, I went to a singles retreat. I just wanted to see something. If you've been in a marriage for so long and you did that, that's no different than a man coming home and saying, you know what, I fucked up. Well, we've been in this marriage 32 years and I just needed something different, and being able to work that out.
Gotcha. And she gonna drag his ass because he fucked up for 5 long years. She ain't gonna ever let him live it down, and she shouldn't live it down either. Like, this is the nonsense that I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Instead of prioritizing, I'm being serious.
I know.
Instead of prioritizing your relationship, and it's funny to me, but I'm gonna hit you with some game. Instead of prioritizing your relationship, and this seems to be that is so hard for women to comprehend. Y'all can prioritize jobs, careers, school. Y'all can be razor sharp focused. But when it comes to a man, I don't even know what to do. I need to get out here and do some shit. There's a couple of dicks out here I think I miss sucking. You know what I'm saying? Like, it be some shit that I just don't understand and don't get. Like, this shit is not hard. Y'all can focus on all that shit. You can go through 7 years of school, no problem. You know what I'm saying? Staying up all night, drinking coffee, Red Bulls, all this other type shit. Come to a man, I don't even know what to do. Like, this shit just don't tickle my fancy. You know what I'm saying? The guy on the job said I was cute, but my husband, I don't know what the fuck he think. Like, this is fucking horseshit. We giving motherfuckers, like, too many passes. Like, we're giving them too many passes. If this was in reverse, again, the man would be crucified and put to a stake. If Will Smith was out here talking about he had a motherfucking entanglement, they would never let him lay that shit down. Oh my God, look how he's doing Jada. This shit is motherfucker. Oh, it's hard to have sex with Will Smith. Wait, I didn't mean it like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, it's him. Like, are you fuck? She got half her family looking like Tupac talking about it's hard to have sex with Will Smith. Like, are we serious? Like, this what we doing?
Yes, that's what we're doing. It keeps us in business. This is another episode of Relations. My name is Kana Lassiter. I want you to tap in by sending an email to me personally, kana.lassiter@gmail.com. You can also find me on IG and Twitter at Kana Lassiter.
And I want to thank everybody for joining me on Podbean and especially TikTok. You can find your boy on both platforms, 51 Spade on Instagram. Hey, follow us on YouTube. It's The Relations Podcast. You know, subscribe, help us build. I want to thank everybody for joining. You're looking for the shirts? You can get these at Alpha Male God Creations on IG or go to www.alphamalegodcreations.com. And like I always say about this time,